Now, thank you everyone for coming today to our webinar on how to keep your online community active. This is being hosted by the fine folks here at BigMarker.com. We have Andy Papier, one of our community heroes, and Joe Yeoman, myself, one of our other community heroes. You can easily email us at Andy@BigMarker.com or Joe@BigMarker.com. So what is an active community? So over the last couple of years we've been here on BigMarker, we have started to see and be part of different active communities, and we've developed some of our own theories as well as looking at some other community managers that are bloggers out there and other scientific research about online communities, and we start piling them together to come up with some of our ideas of how to make your online community active. So this is an active community. It's usually self-sustaining, so that means if the organizer left the group, so if you left the group, it would continue to function. So basically your job as an organizer is to work toward this kind of stability. Basically you're trying to work yourself out of a job. So this is what kind of an active community looks like. These are images from BigMarker. We have basically every time somebody posts, you have people respond to it as well on the platform. So for an active community, you're really looking for basically people to interact with each other. So that's what the definition of an active community is they're actively doing things and commenting on things. So let's talk about the stages of an online community before we get into how to grow and make your community more active. And these are the 4 basic stages. So we have inception, establishment, maturity, and mitosis. So the 3 major ones that you need to know are inception, establishment, and maturity. So basically in the inception stage, it's a brand new community that just started. So between 50 to 100% of your content posted will be by you, the organizer, if you are the organizer of your group. So this means this isn't a very active community necessarily. This is really just the organizer is pushing the community forward. And then once you get into these established and mature communities is when you have a quote-unquote active community. So in an established community, you have under 50% of the content posted is by you, the organizer, and then mature community, it's under 10% is being posted by you, the organizer. So that is the idea. So in the mature stage, again, this is when you become completely stable. You can take a vacation because this online community can basically run itself, and you are there to help facilitate long-term growth and ideas. So on the right, we have the mitosis. So this is a group that breaks apart. So eventually, sometimes your group may become so large, you don't necessarily need to be a mitosis group, but basically sometimes your group grows so large, you break up into these subgroups of more specific channels to chat in. So obviously, as your group becomes more active, you grow through stages of your community. So 5 ways to keep your community active. First one is finding and creating good content. Second one is implementing a schedule. Third is making newbies into regulars. 4 is recruiting volunteers. And then the 5th part is we'll talk about the taking advantage of the BigMarker platform. So finding and creating good content. Obviously, to get an active community, you as the organizer need to curate content. So when we say content, that can pretty much mean anything on the web. From posting articles to newspapers, to articles to blog posts, to asking questions, creating polls, sending thank yous, or in this case, from BigMarker, creating webinars, web chats, video conferences, etc. So there's tons of content, quote-unquote content out there. Basically, your community revolves around this type of content. Your community revolves around content. Since it's an online group, you need to actually post physical things for people to read and interact with. And you can measure your activity depending on these types of postings and how people comment to these postings. So you can find content all around the web to share with your group. It's pretty easy to do. You can obviously Google and look through the news alerts or Google blog postings, and you can even create alerts through Google or Yahoo or I assume Bing. I don't really use Bing, but I'm assuming on most of the search engines you can create alert to let you know when news has been published in that particular topic or field or search. So you can publish them, you can post to your group the most recent news and ask if they have any opinions on it, things like that. Because good content is what's going to keep people back. So this is a look at the Chainlink. It is a private social network for just bikers in the city of Chicago. And you can see that they have, here's one posting. So this is content that was originally created probably years ago. And it was, I rode my bike today, did you? So the content is literally just them asking a question. And it has 5,268 replies about people posting about their bike ride, etc., misconnections. Here happens issues. We have a meeting. So this is an event. Lost and found, celebs on bikes. So these are pictures of people on bikes. So this is content that obviously they are curating and posting, and you can see that they are going through and commenting on it. Implementing a schedule. So now that you have, slides skipped back. Give me 1 second. So now that you have content, you have all this content, we suggest implementing a schedule for you to keep on a posting cycle. Obviously, you don't want to post all of your content on one day, so Monday becomes a huge post day. You just dump content into the community. You want to keep your postings throughout the week or month, depending on how you schedule. So you should create this schedule. We'll give you a sample schedule here in a second. This will make your community more predictable for your members, so your members know to come back every Wednesday for the event posting or come back every Thursday for the tech talk. It just creates your community in such a way that it's easy to follow what's going to happen. Your schedule should be based on your community needs and wants. If you have an enormous community, you can post every day. If you have a very small community that's only meeting and talking about surgical equipment once a month, you might only do a few things that month. So here's an example schedule. So on Monday, you can post an opinion feature to stir debate. So you're going to post about, hey, what's everybody's opinion on X topic? Here's an article. What's everybody's opinion on this topic? Same with Tuesday. Repost a news article or a journal article and get opinions on the subject. So such and such was in the news yesterday. What does everybody think about that? Wednesday, you can host a webinar. So, for example, it's a Wednesday here, so we're hosting a webinar to discuss a particular topic for that group. Webinars are great because obviously you get to see people face to face. It's an easy way to host a presentation. Thursday, you can do a featured interview, so you can bring an outsider into the group. You can do a video conference on BigMarker with that outsider, or you can even just ask them questions. Hey, this is what so-and-so said. Friday, you can post about an event for the weekend that people should attend. On Saturday, maybe welcome newcomers into the group. So these are the newbies that just joined. Welcome them and tell everybody about them. On Sunday, you can post a summary of what happened in the week and do that. Sorry, everybody, I'm having problems with my slides automatically jumping back to the front. So give me a second. There we go. So here, for example, this is a aeronautic. This is a online community where they meet and talk about fake DIY drones. So it's just basically creating your own flying machines. So here's your posting. For one day, they're posting a video. The other day, they're posting a news article. So turning newbies into regulars. So when somebody comes to your site and joins your community for the first time, they are a newcomer. So this means that they are brand new to the community. They know nothing about this community at all. They have just decided to join, so they are new to the group. So your job as the organizer should be getting these people into regulars, because that is turning them into regulars, because that is what actually will eventually create tons of content for you and make them active members. So basically for newcomers, they don't know anything about your group's culture. They don't know the inside jokes, the hierarchy, the insider language, the norms, the customs, etc. So for most newcomers, this stinks. They don't like it. It tends to be off-putting, just again, kind of like when you're in high school and you're the new kid, you don't know what's going on, etc., and it becomes kind of sad. So you as the organizer should make them feel welcome and make them feel like they are a regular. We suggest that we've seen a lot of help. We've seen a lot of success with sending people a welcome guide. It's a document that tells them the history of the community and some other useful tips, inside jokes, etc. on the community, so it can basically accelerate them and make them feel like they're a regular. You should also introduce the newbies to the group so that everybody knows who they are. So then the other people in the group can make them feel at home and welcome. So for example, here's a newbie's guide to UAVs here on that social network. So basically you can get on here and learn about UAVs if you are a first-time joiner of this group, so you know all the basic terminology, etc. after you've joined. Regulars are amazing. So these are the people, once you go from newbie, then you go to a regular. So basically your regulars are your lifeblood of your community. They're the ones that attend your events. They're the ones that comment on posts. They're the ones that download your files. They're the ones that consume your content. So basically they are the lifeblood, and you want to try to get as many newbies to turn into regulars as possible, because they're the ones that actually keep your community active. They're the ones that will comment on your posts. They'll post their own content, etc. So for example, this is a community on BigMarker. So we have somebody posting, and every day Chris and Kristen usually post and respond back to it. So they are regulars. They sign in every day. They look at all the different things, and they comment on things. So they would be a regular of the group. So recruiting volunteers, this is the fourth section about becoming active, getting an active community. So your stages of your community members goes from, as you can tell, newbies to newbies to regulars to volunteers. So volunteers are the third and final part of your membership, besides obviously you as the organizer. And volunteers basically are the champions or the evangelists of your community. So these guys are your heroes. You want volunteers. They're the ones that take up your name. They do things. They are the power users. So they'll create video conferences and webinar. They'll stay to your content schedule, and they are dependable. So you should try to recruit volunteers right from the beginning. If you basically figure out somebody wants to be a quote-unquote volunteer, you should basically get them to help you out, because most of the time, obviously, volunteers are working for free, and they do a lot of heavy lifting for you to keep the activity. So when we go back to that content schedule from earlier, if you had 7 volunteers, everybody would be in charge of one of the days. So then that's less work for you to do. So, for example, your volunteer for Sunday would be the one to let everybody know the recap of the week. And then your volunteer for Monday does this. Your volunteer on Wednesday is the one that schedules your webinars, finds you the speakers, etc. Basically, volunteers just make it so you have better division of labor. So, for example, we're looking at this one community here on BigMarker. So we have the main organizer, the guy who created the group right here with Chris, and then all of these other organizers he has made to be his volunteers. So these are the ones that are helping him run the group. So we have the main guy, and then all of the volunteers down below, and then the members underneath that. So the idea is the organizers are there to help out. They find speakers, they do, etc., all sorts of things. So number 5 is taking advantage of the BigMarker platform. So BigMarker is a space where people go to connect. So we have like-minded people on BigMarker, and those that share their passions are on BigMarker as well. So that's the idea of BigMarker, is that we want to help connect these passionate people together in these different groups. So the idea is when you create your community on BigMarker, there are other people looking for these types of communities here as well. So once they come into your group, hopefully they will be an active, passionate member. So they will already start off as basically almost like a volunteer. We want them to basically accelerate to become regulars as fast as possible. So on our BigMarker Home and Find page, it allows you to browse all of the public conferences, webinars, recordings, and communities. So you can see down here that it makes it easy for people to find your content that you've created so they can consume it, so they can become regular members as fast as possible. So basically, BigMarker is a content factory. That's what we like to think here. So that means we have an amazing amount of features, which include the ability to host webinars and video conferences, which to us are the ultimate content, because it allows you to meet face-to-face with your members. So instead of necessarily just posting article after article after article or blog post after blog post after blog post, you can really use webinars as a way to engage and create an active community. So everybody can share their webcams on these things if you wanted them to. Everybody can attend these events. And they can even host these events too. That's the great thing about BigMarker is anyone in your community can host these webinars. So you give your volunteers the power to create amazing content. So the idea is this amazing content will keep your community more active. So the idea is you want to host these video sessions, web chats, etc., whatever you want to call them, to encourage activity. And that is the end of the quick presentation. Again, we are Andy Papier and Joe Yeoman at BigMarker.com. So you can easily email us at these email addresses. We are the community heroes here, so we help communities become more active and become sustainable. You can find out more information about BigMarker and where we're at, follow us, etc. at all these different locations. Hello.bigmarker.com, blog.bigmarker.com, youtube.com/BigMarker videos, facebook.com/BigMarker, twitter.com/BigMarker, and hopefully you had a wonderful presentation. Again, those 5 steps are finding and creating good content, implementing a schedule, making newbies into regulars, recruiting volunteers, and taking advantage of the BigMarker platform. And I'm going to... So the recording has ended. Thank you, everybody, obviously.